At LandGuys, we say every property tells a story. And when it comes to waterfowl, that story starts with the land. Welcome to the Waterfowl Property Series, a LandGuys production, where we share real-world insights on building, managing, and enjoying waterfowl habitat. I'm Matt Cox.
And I'm Nathan Cumpton, and together we'll take you from the field to the blind to help you understand what makes great waterfowl ground. Later in the series, we'll be joined by notable contributor Don Fowler to share even more lessons from the land. So let's dive in.
The first topic we're going to bring up is habitat evaluation. So kind of the baseline is what makes a property attractive to ducks and geese.
Probably more so than habitat, location. Wouldn't you agree with that, Nathan?
Yeah. I mean, obviously the old saying in real estate is location, location, location.
Yeah.
I mean, that nothing speaks more volume, location of a good waterfowl property, of where it's located at relative to the flyway.
Well, and like you even said prior to us starting, you can be on the Illinois River, you can be on the Mississippi River, but if you're not on that flyway or you don't have your rest area, or even down home we have Amaquan,
Yep.
Chautauqua National Wildlife Refuge. I mean, we've got the refuges in those areas, and then you even have some of the bigger private landowners that have, I'm going to call them rest areas. They don't hunt this lake or that lake, so those lakes can naturally hold thousands of birds, and that's the key to our successes, having and holding those birds in that area.
Yeah, I mean, you want volume, right? Like volume of birds and traffic and being where the birds are. I mean, I've seen waterfowl clubs and waterfowl properties that are literally a couple miles from the main reservoir of where all the ducks kind of rest.
Yep.
And if they're not in the right flight pattern of where the ducks are coming and going, they struggle.
Yeah.
And I think that's that not all duck properties, not all waterfowl properties are created equal, and
Nope.
and that's a great example of why.
And you can do a lot with the habitat. I think you can do a lot with the habitat to up your odds, increase. You don't want to downplay any property because it's just not. You can still have marginal success and still do well. You may have to baby the property. Corn, I love corn.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things you can utilize it for food. It's also cover for the birds. So corn's great. Natural feed's great. All the food sources are good, but in general, I think it's 100% location.
Yeah, definitely. Just got to be where the birds are. I mean, and I've even seen this happen before where people think about, okay, well, I'm going to buy this property because it's only 3 miles from the Illinois River, wherever, and I'm going to build, water impoundments and make cells, and I'm going to be able to flood it and drain it and plant corn or millet or buckwheat or whatever it may be, and the birds don't come.
Sure.
Well, and I think, and it's hard to figure out. It's like, well, that doesn't make a lot of sense because I'm only a couple miles from the river, and a couple miles from where the birds are. But if the birds aren't already on that path,
Yeah.
It takes a long time for those birds to figure out, all right, there's food here, there's rest here, and there's not guns blazing away. But it takes years and years of years, and waterfowl hunters, a lot like ourselves, are very impatient, and we want success year one, right off the bat.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing too, is like, yeah, I've seen properties that are, that haven't had success in the past, kind of adverse what I just said about, being far removed, or not too far removed, but still, kind of struggle a little bit. I've seen duck properties that have struggled over the, past couple years that are under new ownership that are reinvented just because of habitat practices and how they're controlling, whether they are opening up the canopy and putting new water structures in and flooding more acres. That always helps too. So I think the biggest thing is being where the ducks on their traffic pattern.
Yeah, you have to be. One of my favorite wetland builds ever, though, was on that black gold property.
Oh yeah.
We built 30 acres, kind of random, but we had big lakes all around us, good rest areas. We never hunted them. Took us a couple years, like you said, to get them really started in there. But once they found it, they were imprinted to it. We were getting 30, 40,000 ducks a year, but we could not overhunt them. If we hunted them too hard, those birds were gone, and it was done. So you had to really baby those birds, and that's a big deal too.
Yeah. See, I think that's why Illinois is so different than, like, say, Missouri or Arkansas or Kansas. Like, I feel like those states are really spread out as far as where the ducks are. I mean, we go hunt in Arkansas or like southeast Missouri, and I mean, there's rice fields, flooded rice fields everywhere, and there's pits everywhere, and you can have pretty good success on a lot of different areas. Where in Illinois, if you're not off, if you get off the Mississippi River or the Illinois River too far, your success isn't going to happen.
Yeah.
It's very rare that you find birds that are too far off those main flyways in Illinois.
Absolutely. Yep, for sure.
All right, so next question we're going to focus on is what habitat features can landowners focus on improving a property for duck hunting?
I'll start that one if you
Yeah,
don't mind.
go right ahead.
I think, obviously water is the main thing. Can you get water, and can you get rid of water? Those are the two main things that I look at, because, obviously if you're hunting in an area where your main source is maybe like backing up a creek or something to flood your property, there's years where it's dry, that creek hardly runs, and you can't get the water source that you need to flood your property. The adverse side of that, do you have enough fall on your property to drain it?
To get rid of.
Like this time of year, we're in July 1st, so I mean, a lot of our corn is in, a lot of our, a lot of our small seeds, our millets, our buckwheats are going in soon. But can you get rid of the water to start over for the next year? Those are the two, I think, as far as, having the property, those are the two main attributes that I think that I would look for to really, start a property in the right direction.
Yeah, you have to get rid of water to get food, right? You have to be able to hold water to hold
Get
birds.
ducks, yeah.
So you got to have a decent water supply or dewatering system, and you got to really focus on maintenance, levee maintenance. How many times have you guys started pumping and you're like, where's our water?
Mm-hmm.
Where's it going? There's a hole in the levee. There's a muskrat had gone through, a beaver had done something.
Yeah.
So there's just always a mountain of maintenance for that sort of thing. But you fall also, a lot of times your best waterfowl properties are in the floodplain, right?
Yep.
So you're at Mother Nature's mercy at all times. So like you said, you can get your corn planted, but we could have a giant rain come through, and next thing you know,
It's gone.
the river's up, and it was all for naught. So there's always a risk there. So having good levees, good dewatering systems, keeping everything in place is important.
And when you talk about dewatering systems, you're talking about infrastructure to open up tubes and just get rid of
it out of here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So hopefully back into the river or whatever. There's sometimes like strip mine properties, a lot of times they'll pump out of a lake, but then they're sending the water elsewhere. So the lake loses the water, but in most cases we're talking river systems that you're bringing the water in. Now you got to be able to put it back out, and the flood dictates a lot of that. So if the river's up, you obviously can't get rid of the water until the river gets down where you can.
So another thing too I like to look at is it's always good to have a secondary source of water too, right?
For sure.
So I know a lot of clubs in the area, and by the way, I'm up in northern Illinois, which is north of Peoria, off the Illinois River, and there are some clubs in the area that have wells and that can flood with like 16-inch tubes. Flip a switch and the water's rolling, and it is what it is. But I also know clubs that are in the area that rely on like damming up a creek or opening up tubes on a creek or the river, whether it's legal or not. It's been done since the 1800s.
Sure.
So I mean, kind of grandfathered in, kind of a deal. But yeah, so having that backup secondary water source is I think, crucial for it's hard to flood big clubs like 1,000, 2,000 acre clubs through a pump or through a well.
Yeah, you're
but
not doing
you know, those 100 to 200 acre clubs, I think that's a great resource to have.
Absolutely. So, and there's a lot of clubs down in my area that pump directly out of the river.
Yep.
But the ones that continually have the best success are the guys that have that secondary water source.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times that river may be down so low that it's a lot of work to get that water out of there.
Those clubs really shine on years where it's really dry, and
Yes.
and other clubs can't get water or their water's minimal, and then you know the club that has the well can flip on a switch and they're full level with water, and they, you know, I mean, if you have the water, then you have the ducks if they're in the area. So that.
You probably haven't been to Don Fowler's club, have you?
I haven't yet.
Oh,
No,
that's
I'm looking
a cool
forward to it.
one.
Hopefully
And
this
it's set up on a well,
Yeah.
electric. I'm sure if he would look into it, there's apps on your phone. You can start that sucker from home and know when you get there that's a pretty sweet feature.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely, without a doubt. Yep.